So I would just like to say thank you so much, Linda, for joining us today. As you know, Linda is a designer, maker and a free machine embroiderer and teacher. Welcome to the Digital Craft Festival, Linda.
Thank you very much. Thank you for asking me.
No, it's great to have you here today. And what do you want to tell everyone what you're going to be making for us today?
Today, Matthew, today I'm going to make a lady with her pussycat. So we've got a lady standing and in her arms there is a pussycat. So I've drawn out my picture, my image, and now I'm going to colour it in with thread.
Right, okay. So we're just going to check with people if everyone got, I'm going to go back to gallery view. Is everyone all right seeing the right things? We all okay? Do we have
No, I can't.
I can't.
I can't. I don't know what the pin means.
I tapped on the picture twice and it came up as big.
I haven't got a pin video, but I can see her when she speaks.
Right, okay. Well, it might just come up when let me see. There's a few bits of chat in the in the chat with some people saying, giving some advice on what to do. Hang on.
Okay.
Yes, can you see this? If you joined with the app, say look at Find Linda Miller in the gallery view, look on the upper right hand corner, there's 3 dots in blue.
I can't see any dots.
If you click on your screen, if you've got an iPad, if you click on your screen, if you click on the picture that you can see of the little my hands by the hoop, if you click on that picture, 3 little dots will come up and then you can pin.
But what do you pin? Sorry, I don't.
The video of Linda's hands, because she's
my hands. There's a picture of my hands with a piece of calico.
With a sewing machine.
No, I haven't got that.
It'll be somewhere on your screen, so you'll need to slide across your screen
on
your gallery view.
Gallery view.
Gallery view. Slide it across until you can see my hands.
I can see.
And double tap.
Okay.
And then tap on that, and then it'll come up with 3 little dots on the top right hand box, and it'll say pin. If you pin that, you'll get a nice big picture of the picture I'm going to make.
No, I'm just getting meeting settings, minimize meeting, virtual background, raise hand. Okay, don't worry, I'll just try and
have a play with it. See what happens. Let's see what happens.
Sure.
Somebody said double tap the picture.
I'm on Zoom. Yeah, an hour.
Hang on. Other than Sue, Liz, oh God, Linda, sorry, and myself, can everyone be on mute, please? That would be great. Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Shall I? I'll go.
Yes, please, Linda. Thanks very much.
Okay. Well, everybody, hopefully there's a picture of me and there's a picture of my hands with a piece of calico in a hoop, and in there is a drawing of a lady and her pussycat. So first of all, I'm going to talk you through my sewing machine. So when I visit guilds and events, I always have my domestic sewing machine with me, but this is my great big darling massive great big Bernina, which I've got in my studio because I'm in my studio space, and it's a huge great big industrial machine which is my favorite machine that I use, and I wanted to use it for this demonstration because it never lets me down. My little domestic doesn't let me down, but this is my big monster one, and I've got all my threads with me, and hopefully in the background you can see a basket of threads. So I have lowered my feed dog teeth. I've put a size 80 needle in, and I've put a free machine embroidery foot on my sewing machine. I've loosened off my tension slightly, and then I've put a piece of heavyweight calico into a wooden embroidery hoop, and then I've pulled the calico really, really taut. I've done my drawing in a black permanent felt pen on my calico. And for this demonstration, I didn't want to draw directly with the needle. I wanted to have a drawing down because it's live. I didn't want to make any mistakes. So I've put black thread in the top and black thread in the bobbin, and now I'm going to start to sew. So I'm going to go around the outline of my felt pen drawing in stitch. So I bring up my bobbin thread from underneath like so. I lower my press foot, I put my needle in my work, and then I put my foot, my pedal, and I adjust my seat a little bit, and here we go. So as I push with my foot, I move the hoop, and up comes a stitch line. So here we go. So round the face, and I'm going to go around the face just underneath the chin again, then I'm going to go down her neck and into her shoulders and down her arm, and when I get to her elbow I'm going to stop, and then I take my lovely sharp pokey scissors and I cut away my waist threads, and those go in my bin. And then I'm going to go under her forearm up into the cuff, and then I'm going to go round the pussycat's paw and up into his chest, and then up into his ruff, and then I'm going to go round his head. Sarah, while I'm doing this, if you've got any questions, or if anybody sends you any questions, if you want to just call them out to me, I'll answer them as best I can.
Sure. I was going to ask you really about, you said that you've drawn on the design today.
Yes.
So normally you wouldn't do that.
Well, that's a good question, because usually with my tiny weeny ones, I usually draw directly with the needle of the sewing machine, straight onto the fabric, because I love the spontaneity of the drawing, because my work's all about drawing. But
Yes.
when it comes to doing bigger pieces or live stitching like this, because I can't afford to make mistakes, because if I make mistakes, the piece is ruined, I decided that I would draw it out first. And that's what I do with my big ones. I draw them out first. I do a lot of drawing on paper first, and then I translate the paper drawing onto the fabric.
And what's asking about what size needle again was that you're using?
Size 80 needle, and always
80.
use a new needle for a new project. So every new project you do, use a new needle.
So have you always worked in this way then, Linda, in terms of using a machine?
For a very long time, yeah. And when did I graduated in printed textiles in 1988, and I set my business up in 1989. So that's 31 years, and this is the same machine.
No.
My dad lent me £600, and I bought this machine. And I've had it for 31 years.
That's a small fortune though, isn't it, at the time?
I know, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But what an investment.
And I paid him back.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this is what I do, and this is what I love. And I'm extremely lucky.
Can everyone see now, all right? Is everyone all right with their view? Just checking with the pinned okay. Seems to be okay, seems to have settled down.
Oh, good. So I'm just going around the outline because I want my figure and my pussycat to stand out. So that's why I always go round the outside of my drawings in a black thread. And if you wanted to have an outline but not as harsh as black, then you could use a dark grey or a brown, but I've always gone for black. And I blame that on my mum, because when I used to draw when I was little, my mum said, "Oh darling, why don't you put a black line around it, and then it'll really stand out." And I've always done that ever since. So what's the expression, your parents?
It doesn't sound like terrible advice though. You've been going for 31 years. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, exactly.
My mum was on to a winner, wasn't she?
Someone's asking, Stacey Owen is asking, what thread do you use, or is there a brand you love for this?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question, Stacey. Right, so the thread that I use and the thread that I love is Madeira, and that's Madeira Classics, and it comes in 2 weights, a 30 weight and a 40 weight, and the 30 weight is my favourite. The 30 weight is a real good ground coverer. The 40 weight's a little bit thinner, so you have to do much more stitching to fill up your areas. Right, I'm just going to, I've missed this lady's ear, so I'm just going to put her other ear in. There we are. Right, so here we go. So that's that. Right, so there we are. So hopefully you can all see that I've done the outline of this lady. And some of the outline I've gone round twice because I wanted it to really stand out. But I've not put the pussycat's face in because I always do my cat's faces at the very, very end, because the cat's face is going to be white. So now I'm going to put the skin colour in of the lady. Well, I say she's a lady, she's a bit androgynous at the moment. All my figures start off very androgynous in the beginning. So now I'm going to change my thread, and I very cleverly have pulled out the colours that I thought I'd need and put them on my biscuit tin lids by the side of me. So I'm hopefully not going to keep hitting the camera.
You're doing great.
Am I?
Yes.
Not too much of a wobble.
No, not at all. Obviously the themes, you often, domestic, and very
Yes.
positive and really, really happy themes. Obviously, is that. So where do you look for inspiration?
In my little world, which is very small, and I really like it. It's all in my head.
Because where are you based? Are you based Hampshire? I can't remember.
Hampshire, in Eastleigh. We're in Eastleigh.
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah, I'm in a
Hampshire.
fabulous group studio, which is really fantastic. So there might be a bit of other noise going on because there's other makers here. But yeah, in the middle of Eastleigh. So Eastleigh's in between Southampton and Winchester.
Yeah.
And it's a Victorian railway town.
Yes.
It's not glamorous, but it's really nice. I really like it here.
Yeah. So
Right,
what's the next stage?
Right, okay, so next I'm going to do the skin colour, because for me with my work, the most important part of my work is the figures. So if I don't like the figure's face, then I'll throw the piece away and start again. And that's why earlier I said I can't afford to have mistakes, because they take a long time to make. So if I have many mistakes, then the piece is ruined. So skin colour. So to get a nice clean colour, you have the same thread in the bottom as you do in the top. So I've got this sort of everyday skin colour, which I use for all my people. And I bring up my bobbin thread as per usual, lower my presser foot, put my needle in, do a couple of stitches, and then I'll cut away that waste thread.
So there's a couple of questions coming through. Well, I'll let you do this bit first. Maybe I'll ask you a couple of questions in it. Unless you, when you've done this little bit, I'll
okay, here we go.
Come back to you.
I'm doing this without any light as well, because I tried putting the light on my machine and it bleaches it all out for you viewers. So I'm doing it in the dark. But luckily I've got my special bottle lens spectacles on, so I'll be all right.
Oh, there we are.
So here we go. So I'm trying to follow the contours of the face that I'm embroidering in. And I'll go down the nose and across the top lip and up the other side of the nose, and underneath one eye, down the cheeks, underneath the mouth, the other side of the mouth, and this cheek, and then round the chin. Sometimes my faces look like they're eating gobstoppers because the cheeks are a bit big. This isn't too bad.
I've got a question asking about the foot that you use. Is there a particular name for it?
Oh, it's called a free machine embroidery foot.
Right.
And if you get one, make sure that it's compatible with your make and model of your sewing machine.
And also the thread count, I think it was the thread size. Was it 40?
30.
30.
There's 30 and 40s. 30s are my favourite. My thread's just broken, but I think that's filled in enough. Oh, I can see a little bit of a gap above her, in between her nose and her lips. I'm just going to colour that in a bit. Otherwise she looks like she's got chicken pox scars. So
what are the main issues then with free machine embroidery then, Linda, in terms of like things like issues like this? Is this the threads break obviously using machine?
Your thread will break, so you can lower off your loosen off your tension a little bit. The downside to machine embroidery, it's completely addictive. So it's like a slippery slope really. So once you're on it, there's no hope.
Yeah.
It has been described as the crack cocaine of the craft world. But
well, that's an admission and a half. Well done.
Right, so there we are. So
a little easier to deal with, I think, than that. Issue-wise. But maybe you can't stop.
Face. So I'll cut off the back, and I'm going to put her cheeks in. So I'm changing colour again. Now, this machine, why I love this machine is if I lower my presser foot, I've got a knee rest, which means that if I swing on my knee rest, up goes my, I love that little get. It's like doing a handbrake turn. Because once you get on a bit of lick, you can then swing a corner beautifully. Right, so I'm going to put this lovely pink cheek colour on because I'm going to put her cheeks in. She's going to have lovely rosy cheeks, like if she's eaten a lot of rice pudding, which gives you lovely rosy cheeks. It's not easy to do this in varifocal spectacles, I've learned. So I've got a pair of, my optician made me a fabulous pair of like bottle lens spectacles, which I call my bottle lens, which are fantastic. And I measured from my eye to the needle, and it was something like 18 centimeters. And then he made me a pair of spectacles, like magnifiable ones, just for this, which is fabulous.
So you've got extremely thick glasses on.
Extremely thick, yes, yeah. Because I'm going blind. No, I'm not going blind, but you know.
Yes.
It's just a case of getting a bit older and using your eyes all the time.
Yeah,
now I'm going to put her cheeks in now. So do one there and then move over and do like that. And then I can cut away the waist thread, and there's her little cheeks. And then I'm going to put her hair in, and I'm going to give her dark brown hair. Like that.
So in terms of when you're making, you do each part of the item first, rather than lay down a colour then do another colour. You actually do each section.
Yeah. Because if I was to put all the background colouring first and leave a gap on the calico for the face, and then I did the face at the very end of the day, and I didn't like the face, that would be a whole day sewing down the pan. So I always do the important
bit first. Do that the first part is always the face.
Yeah. And I would say that to people as well. Do the important part first. If you don't like the little bit you've done, you can throw it away and start again. But if you've done a couple of days of sewing and then you put your important part in and you don't like it.
No, exactly. And do feel free to put questions in the chat, everyone. So if you want to ask any questions to Linda, she's
yes, I'm more than happy to. You can even ask me what you'd like to have for dinner tonight if you want.
So I suppose I wouldn't mind knowing what the audience is in terms of their interests. So in ceramic, in textiles, are they all makers themselves, or wanting to do more work like Linda? So we got a fun, curious question here. What is the most time-consuming step? That's a good one. What was the most
backgrounds? If I do really, really big pieces, and there's one colour just one colour that I'm putting in backgrounds, they take a long time to do.
Yeah. What was the most challenging portion of this craft when you first learned this, and now?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Is it no effort now? You know.
No, they're still difficult now. They're still challenging now, and I think if they weren't, it would show in the work, and I take it all for granted, and I don't ever want to do that, and I've never taken it for granted, because you never know when you start a piece of work how it's going to come out. You've got an idea of what it's going to look like, but you can't guarantee that it'll be what you want it to be. So it's a lot of concentration. I think it is with all making and with all craft. It's a lot of concentration.
That's for sure. What's your advice for beginners? That's a big question.
It's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's my advice for beginners? Use nice thread. Use good thread. Don't buy cheapy thread, because cheapy thread is just, it will keep breaking and snapping, and you'll get a lot of fluff with it, and it's just not worth it. Cheapy thread. Use nice thread. And always, if you want a really true, clean colour, use the same thread in top as you would in bottom. And then you'll get a beautiful, clean, flat colour on the top. So I'm going to put this lady's hair in now.
Good advice, good advice.
She's going to have short hair, and it's going to be brown. I'm going to do a bit of a fringe. And I'm going to do a little bit of the back.
I think someone has also asked, where's it gone? Here we go. Excuse me while I scroll. Do you use batting between the calico?
Do I use what, sorry?
Batting.
No, I don't. It's a piece of heavyweight cotton calico. Just one piece. No, I don't wad my fabric, and I don't put a violin or anything on the back. It's just a piece of fabric. So my advice also is that when you're stitching, is not to do too much stitching in one area, because you'll either get a lump underneath or your fabric will split.
Yeah. Someone's
So-
asking, why can't we see Linda change her spools? Is there some mystery going on?
Because if I go like that, you can probably see the plate of my machine. My spool case is in there, and there's a little flap underneath my table because my machine's set in a table, and I just pull the flap, and I'm always changing my spools blind. But if I pull this little disc to one side, you can see my spools in there.
Ah, so it's just the magic of the machine then, really.
It's the magic of the machine.
Yeah, so that money was always so worth it, wasn't it?
It was well worth it.
So, someone's asking, I'm a jeweler, I'm also interested in seeing if I could use my domestic machine to embroider with the correct foot. Is that right?
Yep, you can. Yep, domestic machines are absolutely fine, and that's what I learned on when I first learned. I learned on a domestic machine. If you're using a domestic machine and you're using it for solid free stitching, just fill the engine every so often. If the engine feels really hot, then switch your machine off and let it cool down for a little bit.
Yeah. And how often do you get your machine serviced?
Oh, good question. Every couple of years. I've got a fabulous man in Southampton, in Shirley. He's just absolutely the best.
So that's probably part of the reason why your machine has lasted so long as well, isn't it? You know, that's looking
I've looked after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm now changing. I'm going to put the white of the pussycat's face in, and then oh, I know. Do you want to ask your watchers what colour the pussycat should be? Its face is going to be white, but what colour fur should I do in?
Well, yes, exactly. Everyone put it in the first person to put it down.
First dibs.
Another question: do you always keep the bobbin thread the same colour as the outline throughout your piece? As I noticed that you are not changing it when colouring in.
I am changing my bobbin thread. It's because you can't see me doing it because my hands are reaching underneath my massive table into the bobbin chamber. Oh, I can't see to thread the needle.
I think we have a ginger is very popular.
Oh, okay.
So let's do that.
So ginger one, okie dokie.
Yeah, that seems to be the overriding request.
I'll put his little face in first. I'm going to put his white face in. I'm going to give him a white bib. I'm calling him a he. He could be a she ginger. So I drew the cat's face in felt pen, just so that you all could see the picture that the cat had a face. But normally I wouldn't draw the face in until I would with thread at the very end. So there's his white face, and now I'm doing his white bib. I've done him a nice big fluffy bib because he's got his lovely winter coat on because it's winter. And go underneath his chin.
Another question for you, Linda, if that's all right.
Yep.
And it's a serviceman issue. Can you tell us the man's name in Southampton that services your machine, because the Bernier man in Fareham has retired?
Is he? He's a devil, isn't he? That's very selfish of him.
I know.
Yes, it's called Atelier Sewing Machine Services, and it's in Shirley, in Church Street, and he's called Howard.
There we are. Great bit of advice there. Howard.
And he's fabulous. Howard in Shirley.
Howard in Shirley. Atelier. Yeah, lovely. Okay.
He won't thank me, will he? He'll be inundated.
I don't know. It's always good to get new business.
So I'm now going to make our pussycat ginger. So I'm putting yellow in the bobbin, and I'm putting this lovely ginger fur colour on the top. There we go. That's it. But with machine embroidery, I have lots of bobbin spools because you're always changing your bobbin thread. So I've got a lot of bobbin spools, and I keep them all in a biscuit tin lid.
Can you, someone's asking, Nicola Davis is asking, could you hold the embroidery up to the camera to have a closer look?
Of course. Which camera?
To the one you're using now. Down,
that one?
Down, yeah, down, no, down. There we are, there we are, there we are, yeah. Oh, great, yes, you can see that coming, you can see the cheeks now.
Yeah.
That's perfect, thank you. That's great, welcome. That's great. Love those rosy cheeks, yeah.
Lots of rice pudding. So, yes, please, if you any questions, do ask. While you've got the opportunity, please
great.
do.
It's a great way to make sure we're doing what people want, really. I would love to see how, Gwen Edwards is asking, would love to see how you store all your threads, and do you keep the bobbin with a full reel?
Yes, I do. I do keep my bobbin with a full reel. And at the very end, I'll show you my threads if you like. Because I can take the camera over. Or I can bring my baskets to here.
Yes.
Because if I alter my camera now, I won't be able to get it back.
No, I'd leave the camera. I'd bring things to it because it's perfect.
I will. I'll do that.
It's perfect.
Right.
See
so
everything.
I'm now going to fill in a bit of fur. So here we go. We've got this lovely, like a sandy golden ginger colour, and then I'm going to put some stripes on him. So I'm going to fill his fur in. So I'm going round his ruff, and then I'm going down his leg into his paw, where he keeps his lovely sharp claws. And then round the lady's hands, because her hands is holding him, and then up her arm. And I always try to follow the contours of the object that I'm embroidering when I'm sewing, because I feel that it then, with a finished picture, gives the picture form and substance if you follow the object, if you follow the contours.
Yeah.
I'm going to go just down into her fingers. Make sure I've got all that core in. Then I'm going to carry my thread over, so I lift up my needle and lift up my foot. There we go. I'm going to turn him round so I can get down into his leg. So down into his tail first. Lovely big bushy tail. And then I'm going to go into one leg. And then into the other leg.
So there's a question about the stitch size the machine is set to. Can you repeat that again, Linda? Did you mention it?
Oh, no, I didn't. But when you lower your feed dog teeth, it's you that makes the size of the stitch. When your feed dogs are up, they're little teeth, and they pull the fabric through the machine, and whatever you've set your machine dials onto, that's the length of stitch that you get. But when you drop your feed dogs, you've got no teeth to pull the fabric through the machine, so it's you, depending on how quickly or how slowly you push your fabric through when you're doing machine embroidery, that makes the stitches.
Yeah. So if someone's asked, Caroline Wavell is asking, I free motion embroidery, but find it difficult to get the speed of my hand to match my foot speed. Any advice on how to coordinate the two?
Practice. It's practice. It's like when you're driving on the motorway, and you come off of the motorway and you go down the slip road because you're going to get back onto the B road, and you just automatically always slow down. It's the same for machine embroidery. It's just practice. It's just like driving a car. You'll get there.
Because obviously you're doing it like incredibly quickly, so can you still create the results that you do have in many ways with going much slower? It just takes longer. Yeah.
It's just that I've been doing it for such a long time, and I know my medium very well that I can really put my foot down now.
Yeah, yeah.
But only on big areas, like on the cat, I could really run, but on the face, I would go a bit slower.
No. And as you don't set the stitch size, I take it that's part of the whole process then, is that you are controlling the whole motion of the machine with your hand, really, isn't it? With your foot, your hand,
with your foot on your pedal.
You're on the pedal, and then making sure that the movement of the hands then is keeping up. So it's a real tricky thing, as you say. So it's a matter of practice and practice.
It is, like everything, isn't it, in life?
Yeah.
I've put a multicolored thread on because I'm going to do his ears in really bright orange, and then I'm going to correspond his stripes in the same bright orange. But the multicolored thread is one spool of thread, but it's spaced out with different shades of orange on it. So it'll be all slightly different shades of orange, which will be rather nice. So I'm just going to do a little bit on the side here, which is my waist fabric, before I go in there, before I go into his ears. So, and this thread, although it's a beautiful thread, it's really tricky to work with. So I always do a little bit on the side before I go into the actual body to make sure it's going to run okay. So his ears will come out slightly different colours, hopefully. There's one, and let's move it over. There's the other one. There we are. Oh, lovely jubbly. Let's put a stripe on that here like that. Right, and then we're going to go into his body. So I'm going to make him into a lovely ginger cat, and I'm going to do lots of swirls on him. And then on his legs, I'm going to do some stripes.
Lovely. So have you adjusted the bobbin tension? Asked Jeanette Lloyd.
No, I never touch my bobbin tension. If I'm going to play with any tension, I play with my top tension. If you want to play with the tension on your bobbin, then have 2 bobbin cases and put a little bit of nail varnish on one, which is the one that you muck about with, and leave the other one as factory setting. Because once you change the screw on your bobbin, it'll never, ever, you'll never get it back to how it was when it came out of the factory. That is my advice.
Oh, don't touch it, I would say.
Don't touch it. I don't touch mine. The only person that touches my bobbin is Howard.
Oof. Sorry. That sounds very funny. Well, maybe when you finish this little portion, it might be good to show this to the screen as well.
I will indeed. I'm just going to put on his little bits of stripe on the rest of his leg. Here we go. So there we are. So I'm just going to cut away the waist thread that I carried over on him with my lovely sharp pokey scissors.
Those are a vital part of the process. And
get yourself some, These are one of the cheapest pairs of scissors I've ever had, and they've proved to be the best. So I went out and bought 10 pairs because they're so beautiful. Right, here we are. So, oops, sorry everybody. So there we are.
Lovely. That's
okay.
Great. Thank you. That's lovely.
Now I better put her hands in because at the moment her hands. Oh no, let's put the pussycat's face in. Let's give him a face.
So you do a lot of teaching, don't you? In a normal year. In a normal year, Linda.
In the normal year, in the normal world, I do a lot of teaching, and I really love it. I love meeting other stitchers, and I love sharing the knowledge that I've gained. Because I was taught this by a fabulous lady, and I thought the least I can do is pass it on because it's just fabulous. And in lockdown, I'm sure a lot of other stitchers have found this. It's been a real comfort and a real joy to be able to carry on stitching.
Yeah.
Because it's been a really difficult time for a lot of people, and it still is. And I think if you've got a hobby or a skill that you like doing, it's a good time to indulge yourself.
No, exactly. It's that feeling of mindfulness that you get from
it is.
That has been an absolute godsend, I think, in the last, well, nearly a year.
Nearly a year. It's much better than watching the telly.
Yeah.
Switch off the telly.
Yeah, I do a lot of
sewing.
I do a lot of darning.
Do you?
Well, I try to. But I've got a jumper that I love that is starting to just generally fall to pieces. So I'm just every now and again I have to try and patch it up. But I do. It's a lovely process, though.
It is. And darning is very on trend at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's, me all over,
Head of the game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Mending things. It's the new buying new, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be, really. We don't need everything new, do we?
No, not at all.
Right, so I'm just now, because I'm going to put his face in, and because I loosened off my tension when I started to get going, I want to tighten up my tension because I know that if I want to do just a few little lines of a cat's feature, if the tension's loose, the thread to be quite bobbly, and I want it to be quite flat on the surface of thread that I've already got down. So I'm going to tighten up my top tension a weeny bit, and I'm just going to do a line here to see what it's like, and that's fine. So I'm now going to move my needle over to my pussycat, and I'm going to put in his face. So here goes his face. So he's got a little nose and his lovely little cheeks. And then I'm going to take the needle over to one side, and I'm going to cut away the waist thread because I want to put in 2 tiny weeny little eyes, and I don't want any waist thread in the way. So now I'm going to set my machine onto a tiny weeny zigzag. There we go, and then these are going to be his eyes. So here we go. One little eye there, and one little eye there. There we are. And then I cut away the waist thread, and hopefully he won't look too cross.
There's ones in between.
There we go.
Brilliant.
I'll hold him up and you can all have a look. Oh, apologies to any dog lovers. I'm really sorry. I do like doggies, but I prefer pussy. Sorry.
Oh, that's great. That's coming together well, isn't it? Now, Jeanette was saying that she did a class where they did change the bobbin tension, and she said, but I haven't dared. Sounds like you've done the right thing, Jeanette, by not doing it.
Don't do it.
And what was the make of your scissors? Where's the make? What's the make of your scissors?
I'll show them to you. I got them at our local sewing shop, and they were something like $3.99, and they were so brilliant. So I went back and I bought loads and loads of pairs. I must have bought about 10 pairs.
Yeah,
they're just fabulous. The cheapest ones I've ever had.
Yeah, it's so generic, very generic, but very pointy, very sharp.
Yeah, lovely, beautiful points.
Yeah.
Right, hands. I'm going to put our hands in. So I'm going to go back to my lovely skin colour and change my bobbin in a secret squirrel way. Here comes my bobbin.
So when you're making, asking someone, do you, sorry, does Linda use, Fran Cockhill is asking, do you use wadding when you're making a small brooch?
No.
No, it's still the same.
It's just stitch on the fabric.
Yeah.
And
they are pretty
stitch on.
substantial, aren't they?
They're really solidly stitched. Yeah.
And do you always make one piece and then finish it, or do you do batches? What's your way that you make?
With my bigger pieces like this, because this is just one piece in a hoop, I'll just finish this and then I'll start another one. But if I was doing like 4 tiny ones, I could draw out 4 tiny ones in the same hoop, and then I could put all the skin colour in, or the animal fur colour in, or the background colour in, you know, on each one.
Yeah.
So it's a bit quicker.
You've got, because you're not changing the spool all the time, then that makes sense. Yeah. And then your calico is from, is that sort of a very generic sort of
Whaley's. I get my
Whaley's.
calico from Whaley's. Whaley's in Bradford.
Right.
But you have to buy big amounts. Yeah, and I've used Whaley's for donkey's years, and they're absolutely fabulous.
And what makes it good calico then? Is that just a nice flat?
Oh, it's a nice quality.
Yeah.
So the only cheap thing I've got is my scissors, but everything else is really nice quality, because I just think if you're going to spend a long time making something, you want to use good quality stuff.
Yes.
So my calico is a beautiful, thick, off-white calico. It doesn't have many seed slubs in it, so it's lovely and clean. And I've tried loads of calico. And then my thread is a really nice Madeira thread. Yeah. Or Anchor or Gutermann, or you can use ordinary dressmaking threads if you want to. If you're really new to it, start with those. They're perfectly lovely to use. But the cheaper the thread, the more fluff you'll get off of it.
Yeah, and the more issues, a little break and things, isn't it?
And it'll break, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to loosen off my tension just a weeny bit again, because I'm doing her hands. So down into her fingers. I love this medium. I love it so much. I love the fact that when I start a new piece of work, my tummy turns over. I just love it. It's the most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. I love the fact that you can draw with it, and I just love it. I love now my machine's heated up, it just smells of warm oil. It's just wonderful.
So if you've got a domestic machine, so you don't need to buy
not
a special.
And the more basic your machine is, the better it is to do free machine embroidery on.
So it's less computerized sort of thing, really.
Yes,
so it's not
absolutely. Yeah. And my favourite machines are Bernina's. That is my favourite machine. And the older the better.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm just I'll hold her up and you can see her hands. There she is.
Lovely.
Now, does anybody want to suggest what colour jumper she should be wearing? I was going to have a bit of stripe in it. So does anybody want to say? A nice contrasting colour to the lovely
stripy jumper today. So.
Oh, nice. Is that your favourite jumper, Sarah?
Is that
the one with the...
Well, this one hasn't got holes in it, but I've got exactly the same one in grey. That is
okay.
I had to buy this because I was getting so many holes in that one. I had to buy this one, but I do love my stripy jumpers.
So I'll do
Oh,
this a
but-
stripy jumper. So
Well,
what,
there's
what
lots of
colour should the
people
main
asking.
background? Yep.
Well, do a blue background. Someone's asking.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe,
okay. I can
yeah.
do a blue background. Yeah.
And then we can do. Oh, can you do a blue? Well, then a green and a pink stripe. Is that too crazy?
Green and yeah, all right. So
Yeah.
a blue background, and then a green and a pink stripe. I've got a very nice
So there's sort of a
cobalt blue.
mixture of various people's
Okay.
requests, really. I'd say.
All right. Let me
Or
reach
maybe
over here
virgin
and get one of these
blue.
blues. Let's do it that blue. Then I can put some nice bright stripes on the top.
Yeah. Sarah Packington
Okay.
says stripy blue and green. I'm with that, and then maybe a pink stripe. Mel Charters has offered a bit of pink, so we'll do that as well. Thanks,
There's
Linda.
nothing wrong with a bit of pink, light pink.
This is fascinating. Everybody agrees how amazing this is.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you very
It
much,
is.
everybody.
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating.
I think one just takes one's own craft for granted, don't you? You know, because it's what you do.
I know. Well, you're making it look unbelievably easy, but I would imagine it is not easy at all. So
It's a bit easy when you haven't got lots of people watching.
yeah.
I was really nervous earlier.
No,
And I
you
thought, I
do.
can't say that, but
No,
I
well,
was.
it was. That's only natural, isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
everybody gets a bit
Yeah,
nervous.
of course. It's
Right, I'm just
you know.
trying to find a blue bobbin. Here we are. Right, so I've got this lovely, I don't know how to describe this blue really. It's sort of like it's like a jeans blue.
Yeah.
So we've got a great big jumper here on this lady because she's got a nice oversized cozy lambswool jumper on. So I'm going to follow the contours of her jumper. So we've got her ribbon on the neck and ribbon on the cuffs. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm just going to go round her neck and underneath by the side of that pussycat's face. And round her neck. I've got to be really careful that I don't run into her skin colour. Like so. And then I'm going to go down her shoulder. I'm going to do the outline first. And I'm going to go down into her arm and down into her elbow. And then along to the cuff. So now I'm going to do her cuff here. And to give contrast to the cuffs, I'm going to go from side to side like that. And then her jumper, I'm going to fill in like this. This is what I need to get a real lick on once we get going.
Oh, this Stacey Owen has been tuning in from Maine, USA. Thank you for joining us,
Hello.
Stacey. I'm not sure what time it is with you, but thank you for coming. So she says to leave a little early, but well, thank you for joining us. It's very much appreciated.
Now I'm going to go down the side of the pussycat.
And someone has
Lovely
lovely. Someone has said that they've been inspired. They've actually ordered a free machine embroidery foot for their machine whilst they've been whilst they've been watching. So that's good.
Good. Multitasking.
Yeah. So have you been selling your work through the lockdown period, Linda? How has it been for you?
I've got an Etsy shop, and that's been stocked up. So yes, my work has been selling. It's been very nice. So thank you everybody that's been buying.
Yes.
Because of course all our lovely galleries have had to close.
Yes.
And all our lovely galleries They're all small businesses, so it's been really hard going.
Yes, it has been. And how do you normally sell? Is that mostly in bricks and mortar shops, or do you sell online normally?
Both, but mainly bricks and mortar. And I've just been making some work for the lovely Baxter's Gallery in Dartmouth.
Yes.
Run by the lovely Sarah Duggan. And I've just done some pussycat pieces for her, and I'm sending those off to her next week.
Oh,
I'm really excited about those. So yes, because she's opening again on Wednesday.
Yeah, they're a massive supporter of the craft festival. When I go down there, I can tell that they've been to the festival, because it's rammed with makers who have taken part in the show, and it's brilliant to see that.
I know, she's an absolute darling.
Oh, that's nice.
So I've just put this other sleeve in. Now, I don't know what our time's like, Sarah, but I don't think I'll put the bottom of her jumper in just yet for everybody. I'll concentrate on the stripes on the top and on the arms.
It's not a particular limit, but we've been going for 40 minutes. You might be getting a bit tired yourself, but is everyone happy to carry on for a while longer?
Yeah, shall I just put a few stripes in?
Yeah, I assume people want to see that. So if you want to put in the chat that you're happy with that.
Okay, so we've got the top of her jumper. Looks a bit like a crop top. We've got the top of her jumper in. What I would do usually is I put the bottom of her jumper in as well, but I'm just going to leave it just with the top, just so that you can see. So I'll put the stripes in. Now, what were the stripes? We had a pink one, didn't we? A pink stripe.
Pink, yeah, and green, if they could.
Pink and green. All right, let's see what we've got. I want a nice, it's a lovely cerise pink. Oh, look at that. That's a bit of all right. Well, there's some of that. Pink and green. I want like a nice lime green, I think, to go with our pink.
Yeah, that would look good, wouldn't it?
So now I'm going to be really cheeky and see if I can get away with it and not change the colour in the bobbin. Really, I should put a pink in the bobbin, but I'm going to see if I can get away with it and leave the blue in the bobbin, which is quite naughty, really. So I'm just going to try it on the side first to see if it's all right. Yeah, that's fine. Now this thread isn't Madeira, and I'm hoping it's not going to break. So let's do some stripes. So we'll do the stripes going across first. So I'm going to leave the ribbon of her jumper plain blue. So I'm going to run my stripes over like this. Do 3 there. And leave a bit of space for the green. And then we'll put some in the arm. And we're just broken.
The thread.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 thread.
So do you have any plans for next year yet, Linda? Is it all a bit difficult?
Well,
what's it looking like?
It's looking a bit quiet, but I've got a massive, great big project on because I'm writing another book.
Right.
So my hands are full of book.
Yeah. And who's that with?
That's with Crowwood Press.
And what's you writing about? Other than
I'm writing about stitched pictures.
Yeah.
So it's a book of stitched pictures, but it's all different sorts of stitched pictures. So as well as being free machine embroidery, it's fabric applique and everything. And it's got to be done by next summer. So I've got my hands full up with that. So that's me for the beginning of next year, certainly.
So is it project-based? It's a project-based book, is it?
It's a project-based book, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been very, it's exciting. I've been really, it's hard work because writing's not my forte, but it's a really good thing to do.
And they're all projects by you, or the other makers
all projects
as well?
by me. All projects by me.
Brilliant.
It's all me.
Fair enough.
Right, I'm just going to put one more stripe up there. Oh, no, I'm not, because I've just broken again. Let's just put that last bit of stripe in, otherwise it really annoy me. What about you, Sarah? What have you got going on for next year?
Well, it's a bit difficult to tell at the moment, but I'm reasonably hopeful that the craft festival probably could go ahead. vaccine permitting and
Yes.
and various things. So we've got plan A and plan B, if you know, with which because we're an outdoor event. But it's well, I think maybe hopefully things will be a little bit clearer in the hoping in the early new year.
Yeah.
Whether it's a little bit up in the air, I'd say, but we you know, hopefully a little bit more confident that it might happen. But you know, we've got to be careful. So I don't like to make any promises, but it is looking, only because of the vaccine, it's looking a lot more possible, really. But the digital festival has been something that we've wanted, you know, has helped. I know it's not the same, I understand that, but
it's blinking brilliant.
Thank you. But putting, you know, having these opportunities to meet and talk about work and watch makers make, that sort of, it's a version of what we do. It's in some ways I can see it clearer than if I was at a demonstration, to be honest, because you can't quite get this close up. But
and you don't have to be in your wellies.
Well, that's true, you know, you know, yeah, there are positives, but I mean, but I say it's just about making the best of the situation.
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely. I completely agree with you, Sarah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think we're really lucky we've got this technology, but it's not the same as all being together.
No.
But
no.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We are really lucky.
We've got to work with what we've got and make the best of what we've got. And I've met some amazing people through this period, you know, this last few months, because of meeting through Zoom or through Instagram and things like that. You know, it's been, you know.
You are an amazing host as well.
Oh, well,
really
thank you
amazing.
very much.
You
thank
are.
you very much. Oh, you're very kind.
Very true.
Karen Hodge, thank you for offering this for us. Amazing. Yeah, no, well, it's great. Thank you, Linda, for doing this. It's a wonderful opportunity.
I'm just going to put these other stripes in on our other arm. And then where I've carried my thread, I'll just snip it off with my very cheapy scissors.
Yeah.
What's the expression? Buy cheap, buy twice? It's buy cheap, buy 10.
Yeah. But you see them, if you see it, you get them, and then...
Yeah, because they're just the best.
But how many have you actually gone through? I mean, you know, you've got 10 pairs.
What,
have you got 9 pairs left?
No, I must have been through about 30 pairs of scissors, I think. Especially the embroidery ones, because But I'm really strict with my scissors. My dressmaking scissors are purely just for fabric, and my paper scissors are purely just for paper.
Yeah, I know.
And my lovely little sharp, snippy ones, they do last a little while, but then they just go because you're using them all the time. Yeah. And I drop them a lot as well. No. I'm also rather partial to dropping irons too. I've dropped quite a few irons in my time.
Oh, that's a little bit more dangerous, isn't it? Really,
it is, isn't it? But there's something, you know, the element of danger, the element of surprise. There we are.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
So
round of applause.
Thank you very much, everybody. So I shall finish her off now.
That's lovely.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you. So
do have a look on my Etsy. Oh, sorry.
I'll just say we can. I think we'll go to gallery view. I think at that point, I'd say, has anyone got any more questions they'd like to ask, Linda? This is your moment to be able to ask some more questions. I think we've covered quite a lot of some of the detail that you need to do. I think it looks like you need to go and get a new foot for your machine and get on it.
Shall I show you my basket of threads?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Here we go. Pull it back a little bit. There we are.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
There's
okay.
My thread.
Just a few. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So when you're changing them, so they're literally just sitting under there, are they? And you just Oh
no, this is just my thread. I keep it to one side.
Yeah.
And this is the thread that I use. But then I have the same thread in my bobbin as I do in my top.
Someone's asking, Julie Yardley's asking, what colour background would you use to cover the edge threads?
The edge threads.
I suppose where you've gone over the jumper, I think.
I see. I'm going to put my background colour in, and I think this lady's going to be in a field with a sky behind her. So it would be the colour of the grass, so maybe like an emerald green, and then maybe like a light blue sky.
Do you want to start?
That's what I'm doing.
Do you want to start a little bit of that, and then and then maybe we'll just to show how the coverage works, and then we'll say thank you very much for you.
Okie dokie. I'll put in this. Let's use this green here. Let's use a nice grass green. What's a nice? Oh,
It's very interesting to see how it then sharpens up
Yeah,
the
of
edges,
course.
isn't it?
That's a good, was that Julie? Question from Julie?
It was Julie Yardley, yes, very good.
Thank you, Julie.
Can you, and Nicola Davidson's asking, can you tell us how you edge your embroideries?
How I edge my embroideries. Yes, maybe we should do that on another demonstration. I'll
Yeah,
just move this camera a little bit.
Another whole world, is it?
Yeah, it is. Edging is a completely different ball game. Yeah, but
So
I'm
if
more than happy to
someone-
come back another time and do an edging.
Definitely, definitely. And
Oops, sorry.
if someone wanted, obviously your website is Linda Miller Embroideries.
My website is Linda Miller machine Linda at lindamillerembroideries.co.uk, and my Etsy shop is on my website, or you can go directly onto Etsy and put in Linda Miller Stitches, and up comes my Etsy shop, and it is full of goodies.
Thank you, Merrin. Merrin has popped it in the chat if you want to go and look at
Thank you.
Linda's. She's got lots of lovely work for sale over this weekend with the Digital Craft Festival, and we're just going to do. Yeah, everyone's saying thank you to you, Linda.
You're very welcome.
See the chat. Everyone's
So I'll just
quite
put a
happy.
little bit of grass in for Julie.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edge the outside of her arm first, and because the grass is on a slight slope, I want to follow the contours of the hill. So I'll just go down a little bit like this, and then I want the grass to be in this direction, so I'm following like this. Like so. So that's how I then get rid of the little bits
Edging.
of colour of the jumper. So there we are.
Lovely. That's really great. That just shows then how it then all just starts to sharpen up together, and the edging.
Yeah.
Then that's where the edging comes into its own. Then is it having that black line?
Yeah.
To bring it all together. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you very
think
much. Thank you, everybody.
Speak for everyone to say that was really interesting. And give everyone a little wave there. Give Linda a little wave. That's the way to say thank you. I think the only way, so we know that you're there. Well done. Thank you.